Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be flying the ATR, and this is the ATR 42, the smaller of the two aircraft. And today we are going to be learning how to fly this plane from cold and dark. We are here at Islip Airport in Long Island, and we are doing a short flight over to JFK. So first thing I do when I start this flight, I set up a SimBrief flight plan. And here is our flight plan here. So we are going to be taking off a KISP, runway 33 left. And we're going to JFK, runway 31 right. So one of the cool things of this aircraft is you could import your flight plan directly from SimBrief. So let's take a look at that. If we go down here to our little EFB cam, close this. So you'd have to click login and you'd put your SimBrief pilot ID in there. And after that, it will import automatically your last flight in SimBrief. So I'm gonna click import, and here's our same flight we were just looking at. Also from here is you could set the flight plan. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna send your flight plan to the MCDU. Could also set fuel and set the payload from here as well. So that's pretty cool. That is all automatic for you in there. So let's start getting this plane turned on here. So first thing I'm gonna do is go to the overhead panel. We're gonna go ahead and get our battery master turned on. And the aircraft is gonna start spooling up, come into some sort of life here. All right, now we go back to our EFB and we're gonna go to the aircraft page and we're gonna get some power. So we're gonna get our ground power connected. Select the DC power there, that's good. And back to our overhead. And here we can see the external power is now available. We're gonna click on that. And now the aircraft continues to come to life. Looking good, looking good. All right, back to our overhead panel. Let's get our nav light on. We could get the logo and strobe on if we wanted to. All right, that all looks good. Get our seatbelt sign on. No devices and seatbelts on. Could also arm our doors. Of course, we're not gonna go through the boarding process and all that stuff right now. We're just gonna get this aircraft ready for us to depart here at Islip. All right, so that all looks good. Let's go back down here to our EFB cam, see what we got. So wheel chocks is set, ground power is set up. We're on external power, that all looks good. We got some of our lights turned on, batteries are turned on. At this point, we could turn on our fuel pumps. Fuel pump 1, fuel pump 2. That's all good. Again, this is not by the book, this is just to get you into the sky in this aircraft. That all looks good. We can also get our main oxygen supply on. That all looks good. And the heat and stuff we could get turned on once we're ready for takeoff and so forth. Let's also go ahead and arm the doors. That's good. All right. Now let's go down to the MCDU and take a look at that. So here's our flight plan. Again, we're leaving from Islip and we're going to JFK. Of course, by clicking the set flight plan in the EFB, that sent the flight plan over here to our MCDU. But let's go ahead and get it all set up and cleaned up better. So let's go Islip. We're taking off from runway. Let's look at that again. It was runway 33 left. Gonna go no SID. All right. Get that in there. And then of course we're going to JFK. We're gonna do runway 31 right. So let's go next here on the MCDU. And let's set up for the ILS 31 right. No transition, no star there, that's fine. That's all good. Let's click none, that's all good. All right, so here is our flight plan here in the MCDU. So leaving Islip, going direct to Cathode, then to JFK. But I believe we have Cathode listed twice and JFK listed twice. So we're gonna go ahead and clear those. Let's clear this one. Let's also go ahead and clear this JFK. We don't want to fly over. And let's clear this flight plan discontinuity. So from islip, we're going to go direct to cathode and into JFK. Again, this is a very short flight just to show how we fly this aircraft. So let's go ahead and execute that. So we take off from islip and then we head to JFK, setting up for the ILS free one right. All right, so that all looks good in our MCDU. We could also from here go to the menu page. Let's go ahead and get FMS. Let's do some init. Let's do position init. We could use the GPS position. That all looks good. Then we could go to the performance init, set our cruising altitude. Let's just set 3,000 feet. Easy enough. Again, short flight from islip to JFK. Set that in there. That all looks good. Weight. That came from the EFB. That's all set up. All right. I believe that's all we have to do in there. We set up the performance stuff, and here you can see our V1 and our stuff for takeoff. So that all looks good. Additionally, you can also still see it in your EFB as well. You go to performance, you could see your takeoff performance here as well as your landing performance and speeds. So far so good. That all looks good. One more thing, I want to go back to the EFB here, and in the payload section it gives you the takeoff trim you need for takeoff. And what you could do is you could click this button here and it's going to send it directly to your aircraft. And now we have our takeoff trim 1UP set up here on our display. So that all looks good. All right, now let's get ready to start this bad boy up. So again, we're going up to about 3,000 feet here today. Let's get that altitude set up. I'm using the altitude selector on my HoneyComb Bravo. All right, that's all good. And here is our secondary flight display. So this aircraft is equipped with what's like, different touch screens, different touch points that you could set up, to change to the system page like so. Click it twice, you get to the engines. You can also go to the map, which is really cool, and you could zoom in and see where you are on the runway. So that's pretty cool. And of course, you could go over here to your perf page as well. So there's different click spots. It's good to know where the click spots are. Then from here, we could change what layout we want. Kind of similar to an Airbus. And you could change it, and then once you change it, you could zoom in, you could zoom out. So to learn how these work, you just simply go to the EFB, you go to options, you click on this button down here, and then you could click display click spot help. So what you could see here is all the different click spots and how to change the setup over here and what they do. So that's important to know what the click spots are. And if you hover over it, it also tells you what those click spots are. All right, now back to getting our aircraft ready for departure. So we have that set up. Next thing I want to dial in, again, it's a short flight. So we want to go ahead and get our ILS set up here. Let's go ahead and go to the nav page and then ILS. So we're going to be doing ILS 31 right. So that is 111.5. Oh, put in the wrong place. Got to do it down here. Hit the enter key. So that's on standby here for ILS 1. Same thing for ILS 2. Let's set it up as well. All right, that all looks good. Again, I'm no expert at this flying this plane. I just started learning, so I just want to make a quick tutorial just to get you in the air and get you in the sky flying this aircraft. All right, so next thing we want to do here is go to ILS 1 and set up our course. So the course for this landing is 314. So let's get that set up nicely here. Let's get that to 314. I'll zoom in a little bit more so I can see that screen. All right, there we go, and we're going to a course of 314. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So that all looks good there. Course is set up. All right, next thing we also want to set is our minimum decision height. That's kind of your minimums here. So to do so, you use this knob over here. You can set it to MDA or decision height. I'm going to set it to MDA here, and looking at the ILS chart here for JFK 3-1 right, we're looking at about 212 for the ILS. So let's get that all dialed in here. Set it to 220. All right, that looks good. It's all set up. It's not blinking, so the other side is also good to go. All right, what else we got in preparation for this startup? All right, let's get ready to start this bad boy up. So let's go to our overhead panel. We're gonna go up here, look very closely. So let's get our beacon lights turned on. So this ATR and the ATR 72 as well has what's called Prob Brake. So it doesn't have a traditional APU like the bigger airliners. What it has is you could turn on the right engine, and that could generate power for the aircraft while you're on the ground. So to do so, you're gonna turn Prob Brake on. So you're gonna remove the gate. It already says ready, so that's good. And you're gonna turn it on. And now the Prob Brake is turned on. Next, we're gonna set our engine start selector here all the way to start AB. That all looks good. Fuel pumps are both on. Both Gen 1 and Gen 2 are on. All right, beacon lights on. That's good. And let's get some lights up here. All right, that all looks good. Let's get you to control cam. That's good. We're ready to go. All right, first swing we're gonna do. Let's make sure we're ready for this. Seatbelt signs are on. All that stuff's ready to go. We got our engine pages set up. All right, let's go back to the overhead, and we're gonna click on this button here to start the right engine. And currently, we're gonna wait for about 15% here, over here, and you see condition levers for the props are in off spot, so we're gonna bring it up to feather. And with that, the right engine is now on, and we could see behind it, see the motion blur there, but the prop is not spinning yet, right? Prop is not spinning, so that is what we expected there. So go back to the overhead. Prob Brake is on. That's all good. And right engine is on. All right, at this point, we should be able to turn off the external power. All right, we disconnect from external power, and our engine 2 is giving the aircraft power, and that's all good. So now we could go ahead and go to our EFB and get rid of the DC power here. That's all good. All right, let's go ahead and get our right engine also turned on. So let's go back to the overhead. Oh, overhead. Pump number 1 is on, and we're gonna switch to engine select starter here. Then we're gonna select this back to start AB. Then we're gonna start engine number 1. Come back down here. We're gonna see this. Once the NH percentage goes above 15, we could then go ahead and introduce fuel. So now that's in the feather position, and as you can see, our engine number 1 is also on. Awesome. And of course, before you did this, you would have also removed the chalk, so let's make sure the chalks are removed. All right, chalks are gone. Very nice, very nice. All right, let's get ready to taxi to the runway. Before that, we're gonna turn off the Prob Brake. Let's get the engine selector back into the normal position here. All right, that all looks good. You can get the heat stuff turned on. all looks good. All right. To turn off the prop brake, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to make sure you see this ready light here. And for the ready light to come on, what you got to do is you got to come down here to the throttle, and you're going to click this button. What this button does, you're going to click and hold, and what this button does is sends hydraulic pressure, so that way you could disengage the prop brake. So let's go back up to the top. Still not on yet. Let's go back down, click on it again, click and hold for a little while, click on it. It's a little finicky. Still not coming off. All the hydraulic stuff is on. That all looks good. Gonna click on it again. Click on it a few times. Keep pressing on it. There we go. Now we have the ready light. And to turn off the prop brake, move the gate, put this back down, and what you're gonna see now says ready, and it should say unlinked. And there we go. Now both props are spinning on our lovely ATR here, so we're ready to roll. All right, let's get our taxi takeoff lights on. Wing lights should already been on. That's all good. All right, overhead looks good. Let's change this to our ND. Nav display. Everything over here looks good. Let's look at our performance. Takeoff speeds are 110. All right. And we see that by the little magenta bug over here for the speed. Looking good. Let's go back down here to the throttles. So the idle gate is currently pulled out. So once you're, at the gate and on the ground, you have it pulled, and then you could push it in once you're ready to go flying. But let's go ahead and get ready for taxi now. All right, we're ready to go flying. So let's go ahead and make sure we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and put one notch of flaps in. So flaps coming down. There we go. Flaps are in. All right, let's go ahead and arm the IAS mode. That's good, and we have head and hold, so that's all good. So what the IAS mode is going to do is going to make us climb at a select speed. So we're just getting that armed and ready to go. It's not on yet because autopilot's not on, but we're just getting that ready to go. And of course, once we take off, we'll turn on your damper and the autopilot. So one of the interesting things about this aircraft is there is this power management selector. So you have takeoff, maximum continuous, MCT, you have the climb, and you have cruise. So we're going to take off obviously over here, and once we're in a climb, we're going to get it turned over to the climb, and once we're in cruise, we're going to get it selected to cruise. So that's there, that's ready to go, looking good. All right, let's get head tracking turned on. Now we can look around. Looks good. All right, let's go ahead, get our feet on the brakes. Let's go and release the parking brake. And let's go flying, baby. So let's get the prop into, yep, right there in auto. That should be enough to get us moving here on the ground. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and taxi to runway 33 right, with 33 left. Just double check that. Three left. All right, let's get a little more beans here. ATR is such a beautiful aircraft. As someone growing up in the Caribbean, this aircraft is quite popular and something we see fairly often. Caribbean Airlines flies this. I believe also Inter-Caribbean, and before in the old days, American Eagle used to fly this out of San Juan to the smaller islands. So very nice aircraft. All right, we're gonna go ahead and taxi to runway 33 right. I feel like I keep messing that up. 33 left. All right, all looks good. All right, we're gonna make a left turn here to get to runway 33 left. Let's go ahead and stop here at the whole short point. Let's get the parking brake set real quick. Go to the overhead. Let's get landing lights on. That all looks good. That all looks good. Let's go down here to the throttles. Let's get that. I think you gotta push it in for flight. So we're gonna push it. And then we're also gonna come back over here. Then we're gonna come back over here and remove the gust lock, which is this, so that way you could get your throttles all the way to the position you need.
Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you on board.
All right, we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And let's get ready to go flying. Let's get a nice lineup here. All right, let's go ahead and pull up right here. IAS is armed, head in. Let's get the heading bug reset straight ahead of us. Flight director, I thought I turned on. Now it's back, okay. That all looks good. We have the right stuff armed in the ILS, ready for that. Once we get to that phase of flight. All right, let's go flying. Let's get the throttle into the notch position right there, and let's go. Feed off the parking brake. All right, 60 knots. Stay on the center line here. And we're looking for about 110 to rotate. Naturally, this aircraft is gonna come off the ground itself. And let's go flying. 5 degrees to get off the ground. And then we start following the flight director. Let's go, pause the rate, gear can come up. Start making our left turn here. Let's go ahead and arm nav mode. Just about to hit F speed. So let's go ahead and bring our flaps up. Very nice. Just follow our flight plan here as we continue to climb. Very nice. All right, let's go to the overhead, and those taxi and takeoff lights can come off. Looking good. Okay. Let's follow our flight plan here. At this point, we could go ahead and get the, oh, yaw damper needs to come on. Let's get the autopilot to come on. We have LNAV and we have IAS. Let's also come down here and switch this to climb power as we continue to climb here. Looking good. All right, 3,000 feet. Again, we're not going too high today on today's flight. We're now heading to CATOD, cathode, over at JFK. So we are looking good right now. Altitude 3,000 feet, LNAV on. So far, so good. Again, short flight. It's gonna go all the way up to 240. Let's get this into cruise mode, because now we're already at a cruising altitude of 3,000 feet. Again, very short flight. So we're looking good right now. All right, so let's look down here. Let's start slowing down a little bit. Don't want to overspeed there. All right, looking down here, we could zoom out a little bit. We could see where we're heading over here to CATOD, cathode, which is one of the waypoints on the 3-1 right at JFK approach. We got to be at 3,000 feet or above. So right now we're at 3,000 feet. So far, so good. Flaps are up. Power management is set to climb. Taxi lights off. Yaw dampers on. Gears up. So far, so good. So far, so good. Lovely day for flying over Long Island. And again, the throttle right now is in the notch position. Again, I'm not an expert at this aircraft, nor am I a pilot, but that's just what I've learned from my few tutorials that I watch on this aircraft and trying to recreate my own. So that's where we are. All right, so we're coming up to cathode. We're about 6.6 miles out. Let's go ahead and set the ILS frequencies for our runway. That's 111.5 for that approach. Just there on the shore of Long Island. All right, let's get this zoomed in a little bit more. All right, so we're approaching cathode. I want to go ahead and slow down a little bit. Just get this, scroll down a little bit. Let's go to about 200 knots. All right, we're gonna start making our right turn. And if we look over here, we could see our speed. So for flaps 15, we gotta be at 180 knots. So we're gonna start slowing down to about 180. And once we establish here at cathode, let's go ahead and get the approach mode turned on. Ooh, where is it? There it is. All right, approach mode is turned on. Let's also go ahead and, once we straighten up here, top of descent is at MALDE, as we can see over here. Let's get to about 180 knots. And let's see if we have, yep, just about to capture glide slope. VNAV turn on. Just go ahead and disconnect the autopilot for a second. Let's go down and capture that glide slope. Just a little below it. Alright, localizer is grabbed. Let's just go back and capture that glide slope. Go one notch of flaps at this point. We're below 180 knots. Way above the glide slope there. Get to about throttle idle before we start over speeding. As we approach JFK 31 right. Let's try to get back established on the localizer. There we go. All right, we're back. About to establish on the localizer. If we go second notch of flaps can come in. We're below 160 knots. Let's get our takeoff taxi lights back on. And so far so good. Aircraft is descending, following the glide slope there. That's all good. Alright, let's go. Autopilot can come off. Let's go ahead and bring this bird down manually. What speed are we looking for to land? Alright. Terrible. We're above the glide slope here. Terrible approach by me. Didn't capture the ILS for some reason. But still doing alright. Gear can come down. Another notch of flaps. Let's get full flaps in. Also, we're not in. We got to set back to takeoff power. So very terrible illustration here by me, but the concepts are there. Again, I'm no expert at flying this aircraft, just trying to learn it myself, just trying to share what I've learned so far. Still not too bad. Right on the poppies there. 2 reds, 2 whites. We're at minimums, continuing. Right on the glide slope. Let's go ahead and get that throttle to idle. Let's try to get a nice little landing here. Alright, there she is going down. Get her in reverse. She is on the ground. Decelerated, get the reverse off, back to idle. All right, here we are back on the ground here at JFK. Again, the approach could have been obviously a lot better. I didn't capture the ILS. I believe I was a little too high and my glide slope wasn't armed, but we are safely on the ground here at JFK. Let's go ahead and park at one of these gates. We're not going to follow that. That's fine. In the meanwhile, what we could do is we could start shutting off engine number 1 by putting this into feather for engine 1. All right, engine 1 is in the feather position. And let's see if we can get our prop brake ready. So let's get this juiced up with the hydraulics to see if we get a ready on that. Still not ready. It's fine. Let's keep taxiing here to a gate. In the meanwhile, let's go ahead and clean up the aircraft. Let's get our flaps to come back up. Let's go for this gate straight ahead. All right, flaps all the way back up. Slow down here. So engine number 1 should be feathering. As you can see, it is. Alright, so that concludes our quick flight in the ATR 42. Again, very similar to the ATR 72. Quick flight from Islip to JFK in this bird. Some hiccups along the way, couldn't capture the glide slope for some reason, didn't have it armed. But we brought the bird down safely. We will take it. Next time we'll do a lot better. It's a lot more practice. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you on board as we continue to grow the channel. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.
This concludes our flight. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Before you deplane, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other content.